Exciting times. Not only are we a couple of weeks away from the Cognizant Classic of the Palm Beaches at beautiful PGA National, a staple on the Florida swing of the PGA Tour. Joining us now is a man who has just been named the new permanent executive director of the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. It's Todd Fleming with us here on ESPN 106.3. First of all, Todd, congratulations. And let's just start with this, and then we'll get to know you a little bit. What have the last, say, 72 hours been like for you? I'm sure it's been kind of hectic.
Yeah, it has. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. Excited to have these moments with you. You said something that really hadn't set in just yet, permanent. Which is a good thing. So that was good to finally hear it said that way. But no, the last 72 hours have been, you nailed it, man. It's been a whirlwind, but in all the positive ways that you can say whirlwind. So I got into town yesterday and I'm walking around the course now, trying to get the lay of the land, trying to meet as many people as I can before getting out of here. But it's been exciting. The reception has been great. The comments and some of the kind of email and text exchange that I've had with some people in the community has been really, really positive. So in that regard, permanency is really good.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. How did this come about? Because you've literally spanned the globe in different capacities, and you've been with legends, and you've been part of some of the most elite, biggest events in the world that you've helped put on. How does this opportunity come about, and how is this put together?
They told me that I would be able to lower my handicap if I took this job. So that was the selling point. No, in all seriousness, it's when I took a step back and I had the conversation with the tour directly at the headquarters in championship management, I really started to understand where they're going, what the strategic investment that was announced a week or so ago, what did that really mean? And then ultimately, when they started to tell me which location and where it's at, I started to get really juiced up about the community. And so, and I think I've said this to myself a lot as I was going through it. It's like, there's not a lot of opportunities that you get truly in your career to continue to be part of stuff that's transformative. And what's happening with the PGA Tour and what's happening in the world of golf, and certainly what's happening in this marketplace, is transformative. And so I jumped at the chance once those things started to align. But it all comes from the fact of, look, you got relationships in the industry. I knew the people at the tour, and they called. And there's certain entities that you always take a phone call from. I just didn't know it was going to be about this, but I'm so happy that it was.
You mentioned, and again, Todd Fleming is the new executive director of the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. You mentioned what's happening in this area, and we've discussed it. Population boom, and this is already one of the established tournaments on the tour. It's just coming off of having the longest title sponsor run in the history of the tour, and now a great, solid partner title sponsor, Cognizant Classic, and a presenting sponsor of the Palm Beaches. But this is also the residential capital of golf as well. The biggest stars in the world live right here. I have to imagine if you get a blank slate, it's fun for someone like you to imagine what you can do with a situation like that.
Yeah. No, I think it really is. But you've touched upon two things. It's like we're in the mecca of golf, right? Not only do people, this is a destination for golfers, but it also is the place where a majority of the players call home. So there's a couple things that we've got to do. Is like, one, we've got to lean into that. We've got to make sure that we're listening to them. We got to make sure that we're understanding the things that they desire out of a great experience at a tournament, and how are we leaning farther into that if we're already doing it, but the things that maybe we're not doing as well, or the things that we need to advance on, how are we figuring out a strategic way to bring them into the mix, so that way we consistently have the hometown talent or the best golfers in the world showing up here for, to make sure that our field's great. The other thing that we've got to do, though, is, we drive the world of golf. People want to be here, which means that we should understand experiences and what golfers or businesses in the commercial aspects of what we do in this business, what do they want out of their experience while they're on property in the week that we have to showcase what we do. So again, there's been a tremendous job of that's been done up until this point. I get to carry the ball per se into the future. but there's going to be things that we're going to be looking at. Certainly is like, what's the experience, for those corporate dollars and for those corporate experiences and those types of individuals. But we got to really create something or lean in and expand upon the things that we've done. So that way, everybody in the Palm Beaches understands that this is their event, that they have a place here, and that we're going to bring some new and creative ideas to the table that will infuse over the next several years to just keep enhancing. So that way we are always top of the table in event status. And we are always putting on the best show and making sure that people around the globe understand what it means to live in this area and to come have entertainment opportunities in this area. It comes right here.
Put a pin in top of the table in a moment. Todd Fleming, Executive Director of the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. If you've never been, you're going out to PGA National. You'll be experiencing it like Todd for the first time, and it is one of the best hospitality tournaments on tour. You got Ricky Fowler in the mix once again. You've got Rory McIlroy back in the mix. Again, Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches, thecognizantclassic.com. Get your tickets as this tournament comes up just a couple of weeks away. You spent a lot of time in Spain and working in the soccer realm, the football realm. Atletico Madrid, one of the great European soccer stories as they made their way through the Champions League and through La Liga. And you were brought in a little bit of a dire financial situation for them to help generate interest and generate some money into what was eventually a massive sports soccer presentation. What was that like at that level, working in that? It's got to be life-changing.
No, it certainly was life-changing. I'm very fortunate. My wife is Colombian, and so football is always been prevalent in our household. So again, as an American, we don't traditionally grow up with that. It's becoming more and more prevalent now in this generation. But for me, being exposed to it and then having a chance to work in it, I mean, just was like life altering to be able to live in those countries and do business in those countries and those languages. It was great. But I gotta be honest with you, it's not too terribly different than the task here, right? I mean, they're so passionate in the world of global football that you've got to lean in and just listen to the fans. Listen to what they want, and then how are you bringing that into their everyday experience? That's not too terribly different than what we're going to do here, right? And so I think there's a lot of learnings that we took over to Europe of what the American experience and the North American consumer really wants. And in return, a lot of the listening that you got to do, because those fan bases are so historic, we're going to bring that here to this golf tournament and make sure that we're listening to the fans and developing what they want year over year. So it was fun to do that. It was great. It was good to expand my Spanish language and also had the ability to do it in Italy and speak a little Italian as well. But hopefully I can bring some of that fun and some of that excitement and passion that footballistas have around the globe to this tournament and expand upon it.
Love it. The worldly Todd Fleming, Executive Director of the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches here on ESPN 106.3. I hate to put you on the spot, but have you spent any significant time in this our little portion of the world here before coming down here and now making it your permanent home?
Yeah, yes and no. 20 years ago, I lived in Miami and spent time. I worked for the Heat, and so I know that's a different county and a little bit farther south, so it's not the same. But Florida is near and dear to me. I got married here in Florida. I've got family here in Florida. I've got my aunt and uncle live up in Christmas, Florida. I've got an aunt and uncle in St. Pete, and then I've got my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and 3 nieces in Miami. So I've spent a lot of time in Florida, but I'm looking forward to spending way more time and setting up again, going back to how we started this, setting up permanency here in the Palm Beaches. So it's going to be great, but I'm excited to be here and certainly need to get the lay of the land. So anybody that's got some recommendations, ping me, let me know. I'm always good for a glass of wine and some food. So let me know where I can meet you.
Oh, the glass of wine thing. I feel like Todd Fleming and I are kindred spirits here, without question. Let me ask you this very important question here. Yep. Is Todd Fleming a Heat fan?
Oh, through and through. Not
awesome.
Even a question. I am not only a Heat fan, I'm a huge Eric Spoelstra fan. And, I think the success, obviously, the front office and Riley are the catalyst for all of that. But, the Miami Heat have the NBA's greatest coach and we're fortunate to have him. And so I hope he sticks around for a long, long time. I know he signed a new contract, so I'm really happy for you, Eric. But I hope he sticks around at that organization for a long, long time, and because the winning will continue as long as he's there.
Oh man, so wine connoisseur, Heat fan, Eric Spoelstra supporter. Tell you what, you and I are checking a lot of boxes here, Todd. That's great stuff right there.
Yeah.
And I heard you're a massive R&B fan.
Oh wow. Yeah. I think I may lose a few people here, but I think it's one of America's greatest gifts to the musical world is R&B. But I gotta be honest. R&B and salsa are my two. Salsa merengue. I've been known to dance a little bit, maybe not really well, but I think I can move all right. And with the Colombian wife, I think I've done okay.
It's funny you mentioned that because I have a Cuban wife, and
There you go.
I have been involved. I don't dance salsa well at all. It usually takes a little tequila to get me there, but once I'm in, I need more hips. That's my constant critique with that.
Well, look, a little bit of the spirits and a little bit of socializing via some alcohol always helps on the dance floor. That's
always. Always. Just a couple more here with Todd Fleming, the new executive director of the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. So now, and I'm sure there's a lot of things still floating out there for you, but over the next week and a half or so, what are you hoping to accomplish? What is sort of your timeline right now?
No, that's great. So, so tournament week, I'll be back tournament week. So I'm here for a couple of days, obviously this week, getting the lay of the land and starting to meet the team and make sure they know who I am. I've got some duties in New York next week. So I'll be in New York for a couple of days next week. But back all tournament week and then a few days after the tournament, when things officially begin. But during tournament week, my main goal really, quite honestly, is to listen, walk around, interact with as many people as I can. Obviously, make sure that Cognizant and the representatives from our partner are doing okay, as well as the other partners and all of the fans that are out here. But it's really to walk around, listen to people, get the lay of the land, watch the bear trap as much as I can, and then ultimately use that to start forming some opinions for 25 and beyond.
Todd, it is a pleasure to have you down here and in charge of this tournament that we care so much about down here in Palm Beach County and the surrounding areas. So formally, welcome. Can't wait to meet you face to face out there at PGA National, and travel safe. And here's to a great run up to the tournament. Okay.
Well, thanks for all of that, man. I'm honored to be part of this community. Can't wait to get the family here in the summer and again, make it permanent.